Hello and welcome back to Ann's Ceramics. Today we're going to work on antiquing and choosing the right brush size, which is really one of the most important parts if you're not going to antique the entire piece. And at the top of this we've got a sky with clouds and different things, so we really don't want to get our antiquing on that. So I'm using a dry brush for this particular project because I've got a lot of ridges and detail, and I want to get down into those easily. So I'm just putting a dab of the walnut antiquing on my brush and then coming over and working it into the piece, trying to stay on the detail, on the raised areas and into the ridges and out of the sky area. If you do get it into a sky area or a place where you don't want it, you just come back in and base coat. This has been base coated with a bisque primer, and so it is ready for me to work with the intense translucence and the antiquing. Anytime you're going to antique, you've got to base coat your bisque with something, because the bisque is very porous and it will just let the color just soak right into it. So I've done a little bit of an area right here. So I'm going to take my paper towel. You can use paper towel if you use a good quality, and just start wiping it back. I'm not getting this back quite as far as I want to, so I'm going to add some antiquing medium to my cloth. You don't want to go straight from the bottle to the cloth to your piece. You want to do a count of about 10 and let it evaporate just a little bit. And then you're going to come back over here and you're going to wipe it back just that little bit more. And you're going to work all the way around your piece in the same like manner. You're going to put a little bit of paint on your brush, and then you're going to come over and you're just going to stroke it on where you want it. There's a little bit of that fence in between. Don't be stingy, but don't overdo it either, because you are going to have to wipe it back. And I also have handy, when I do projects like this, what I call a rescue brush. And hopefully I won't need it, but knowing me, I will. And what a rescue brush is an old wore out dry brush, and just like that, and you dip it in water. When you get the paint somewhere where you don't want it, you dip that in water, and then you can come along and you can scrub that paint off. And it's really nice when you're working with a detailed area, and you can just take it off like that. So that's a rescue brush. I learned that from Sharon Kinsey many years ago. Wonderful teacher, wonderful ceramicist. She's retired now. You can see that's going on just like that. Get it where I want it. And I really don't worry about getting right down next to the line on this, because I've got other colors that are going to do other things, and that will fill that in. And so you really don't want to. You do work with it a little bit. And this is my paper towel is still damp from the antiquing medium, so it's still coming off. And now I'm going to need that rescue brush. Tap a little bit off. Got it up in my sky. So I'm going to take that off. Got a little bit on this heart right here. I'm just going to work that off. That heart's going to be crimson red, so a little bit of brown's not going to hurt it a whole lot. Got rocks down here, so just mainly is patient. Don't get in a hurry. Take your time when you're doing a piece. Now, if you're antiquing the whole thing, and you can be messier with it. But this is how you not be too messy. It looks like I'm getting tired because I'm making a mess over here. I'm going to turn it so I can see it just a little bit better. Turn this upside down. Get a clean piece of this. Let that air just a minute. Come along and start wiping it off. See, I didn't use my rescue brush, and I went straight to my rag, and I made a mess. So now I'm going to come back with this rescue brush and a clean corner of that paper towel. Sometimes you're going to use that brush more than other times. Let's see if I can find a clean spot on this paper towel this time. That's okay. See, but you can see how this is coming along and the antiquing is going on. The main thing is to pick the brush, the size that you need for the area that you're working in. Don't try to overdo it. I hope you can see what I'm doing through. Getting all that on. Once you find out how fast this is going to dry for you, and that's going to make a difference as to whether you've got air movement, how much air movement you've got, how humid the air is. We're in a rainy season right now, so there's a lot of humidity in the air, so things aren't drying real good. So I can work a little bit bigger area than you would think normally. And that's the basics for antiquing and for using the antiquing medium, is that the antiquing medium, remember to give it a little bit of drying time. Count to 10 works really well. And then come to your piece. It looks like I forgot to go over there. Nice thing about the translucents is they do not dry real fast. They won't dry permanently at all. They've got to be sprayed with a sealer. So, come back on. So now this half is properly antiqued. Now I'm going to show you what not to do. If you use too big a brush, you end up with the brown all over the place, and this is going to have to be rebase coated. This, I went ahead and did the second step on this, and I applied black to these fence posts, which is the next step in these painting directions. So that goes on exactly just like what we did this side over here. When you use the right size brush, take your time and do it right. You have less cleanup and less bother. So happy antiquing. Remember on your medium to, once you put it on your towel, to shake it to, you know, wave it in the air a little bit, count to 10, whatever you need to do, so that you don't go straight onto the piece with it, because you do want to let it dry just a little bit so that it doesn't pull too much of the color off. And I didn't get in between, so, but anyway, happy antiquing. Remember about your rescue brush, and have a good night. Thank you.